Good Wednesday morning. It is May 14th. Here we are in mid-May, and you found me. I'm meteorologist Craig Moeller from 13 News Now. You're watching the Weather Desk. We do this each and every Monday through Friday right here, 9 a.m. on 13 News Now Plus. We're going to take a look at our headlines, and after enjoying 7 days off with my family back in the Midwest, I'm excited to dive in and take a look at these topics. Now, we're going to start with yesterday's weather troubles, and we had a bunch around the region, but there were trouble spots across the country. And we're going to spend time talking about those. Minnesota dealing with wildfires. There's a plume of smoke right now. This is areas just off to the north of Duluth in the northeast part of Minnesota. We're going to show you where that smoke is headed today and where it's going to go tomorrow as we take a look at the smoke forecast. You definitely want to stay tuned for that. And then as we take a look out over the coming week, get ready for a taste of summer in mid-May, especially if you are a local viewer to 13 News Now and you're watching us from Southeast Virginia or Northeast North Carolina. It's going to get really toasty here in the Mid-Atlantic, but other parts of the country getting a bump as well. So summertime heat starting to build across the country, coming in a little early, maybe a sign of some hot weather to come over this next, say, 4 or 5 months or so. I know Texas has already been seeing some very warm weather. We've seen warm and dry conditions all the way up into Minnesota, likely contributing to that wildfire situation up there. So a lot to talk about today. We are going to start off by looking at the storms here across the region. Yesterday, you can see this loop from 24 hours, well, 12 to 24 hours ago, rain widespread. And now as we go through the day, today, we are starting off dry, but we're likely going to see some more storm development a little later. Before we get into what's coming, I want to take a quick live look outside over Norfolk and Virginia Beach. You're looking at our live sky views, and you can see it is a gray start to the day. Now, there may be a few peaks of sunshine here and there. It's been a little misty, a little spotty drizzle here and there, but overall it looks so much better than compared to 24 hours ago. We'll take a look back. The rain lingered into Hampton Roads for hours yesterday morning. Look at some of the flooding that we were dealing with here in Norfolk. It was really pretty nasty out there. That was the intersection of Olney Road and Bush Street, not far from downtown. Now, I do want to mention, this is an area that is prone to flooding. If you are watching this weather desk from outside of Hampton Roads area, you might think, oh my gosh, they've got water covering the roads. We are very low. We're close to sea level here. Obviously, we are on the Atlantic Ocean, and we have the Chesapeake Bay right here. So some parts of Norfolk only a handful of feet above sea level. And in this particular area, it's a poor drainage area, so it does fill up with the heavy rain. So again, this is not that uncommon, but in Virginia Beach, we had some more problems, and a heavy downpour washed out a few roads. Look at this motorist trying to get through the high water. This is never a good idea. You get water into the engine and it can mess you up big time. You look at that, you're going, okay, well, it's about knee deep or so. You see those folks kind of wading into that. The problem, and again, this water may have just collected there and it may be nearly still, but you never know for sure. And if there's even a little bit of movement with the water, cars, even traveling through water just a handful of inches deep, can start to move. And if you get pushed off the road or carried just a little bit, you slide into a deeper area, that can lead to big trouble. All right, remember, turn around, don't drown. That's the bottom line. It only takes a few inches of water to cause major problems and can be life-threatening. A lot of folks yesterday lost power. I know there was a couple hundred at one point due to some power down lines, just trees coming down on power lines, and that was a big issue. You can see this tree toppled over Idlewood Lane in Williamsburg. Fortunately, it just barely missed the home. When it comes to those power outages, at one point there was up to 5,000 people that were in the dark, but Dominion Energy got the lights back on for everyone within a few hours. kept getting updates yesterday as I was checking coming in, saying a couple hundred here, a couple hundred there. When you added it all up, at one point up to about 5,000. So lots of issues yesterday. We'll get into some of the storm reports here in just a moment. You can see this morning the rain really extending now up into portions of eastern Pennsylvania, much of New Jersey, dealing with the wet weather, the rain moving through Maryland, and you can see northern parts of Virginia, a little soggy earlier this morning, but we're drying out right now, certainly here in the southeast part of Virginia, northeast North Carolina. Now, there's some more wet weather out to the west, and we're not done yet. The upper level energy kind of still spinning there. So as we stop this, I can go ahead and put the winds on and just give you a feel for what's going on. We've seen this push of warmer air. We actually have a warm front lifting through the area. Let me put that on there. You can see some of this energy here, a little slow to move along, but it is lifting. And yesterday's high was only in the low 70s for Norfolk. We had the rain. It was windy. I flew into that mess yesterday, and the term that our pilot used coming in, he said, it's going to get a little sporty, which I thought was very appropriate. I don't panic during turbulence. I never have. You know, you're riding the air, which is just like riding the wave of the ocean. You know, you have your ups and downs, and it can be a little bumpy coming in. We had a little bit of that, and there was actually a pretty good crosswind coming in, which made it a little bit rougher. But once we got down near the surface, the crosswinds were not as big an issue, and we were able to set down pretty comfortably. So that was nice in that final approach coming into Norfolk, but it was really rough flying into the region. This upper level energy is going to lift to the northeast, and it's going to take with it the rain eventually, but we still have chances for showers and storms. I wanted to show you some of the storm reports that have come in from late last night and early this morning. And we'll start off back here across Illinois. 3 different tornadoes reported, at least funnels that came down. They were actually termed as kind of land spouts, or, you know, different weak tornadoes that kind of formed maybe over a body of water, moved over land. So, you know, they don't have the ocean out there, but if you've got a lake or a body of water, sometimes you can get these little circulations or funnels. At any rate, that was one there in Champaign, one north of Lincoln, and the other one well to the northwest of Peoria. Just a few very weak circulations, but still spotted and confirmed by video. Now, across our region, once you come back towards Virginia, you get into the central part of the Commonwealth and out to the west, numerous areas with heavy rain and flood reports. Also some hail out over western Virginia. There was lightning that debarked a tree. You think about that. Lightning strikes a tree, blows the bark off that thing, took down some branches as well. And then here in Norfolk, we had multiple winds gusting pretty strong at times. You can see there was a gust in Poquoson, 48 miles per hour. You take a look in Hampton, a 49 mile per hour gust. Again, these are at Mesonet stations, actual weather recording and reporting stations at one from Hampton. That was yesterday afternoon. We had a marine thunderstorm warned, 42 miles per hour there at Fort Monroe. Fort Monroe, right on the edge of the Hampton Roads area where the Chesapeake Bay meets the Elizabeth River and the York. They all kind of come together right there. The Elizabeth River, everything right there at Hampton Roads at Fort Monroe. And then a little bit farther to the east at Bayside, a 40 mile per hour gust. And finally, down at the Outer Banks, we had a gust at 52 miles per hour down at Grandy. So again, windy conditions yesterday. These were coming in during the afternoon. Things have improved in terms of the wind, but we still have the potential for severe weather today. Now, it's a level 1 threat for Hampton Roads. You can see the entire area shaded in green. We're going to pull back out and show you some of the other areas with the severe weather threat. As I mentioned, our entire viewing area down across North and South Carolina, back out into eastern portions of Tennessee and Kentucky, North Georgia also under that level 1 threat. This area back across the Dakotas and into Nebraska, though, this is catching my eye. It's a level 2 or a slight risk. So the area in green, it's called a marginal risk, level 1. That means there could be a few isolated severe storms. Where you get into that slight risk, that level 2 risk, there you have scattered severe weather anticipated, and this is through the day today. Now, as far as the tornado potential goes, we're not worried about that here. There's nothing really indicating a great likelihood of that. We'll, of course, keep a close eye to any stronger storms that do develop this afternoon across Hampton Roads. So you definitely want to stay weather aware if you're watching in this area. But if you know folks, or if you're living out in the Great Plains, you get up into South Dakota, portions of Nebraska especially, that's where you've got that level 2, this area shaded in orange. Threat for tornadic development, about a 5% chance of a tornado within 25 miles of any given point within that orange. So again, a little bit elevated there, certainly something that we will want to watch. Now the winds, greater chances for just some damaging outflow around this part of the country and here in Hampton Roads. I think that's the primary threat with anything that develops this afternoon. We're going to get some locally heavy downpours. Some of those will create some winds that gust out away from the storm. So we'll watch for that here, strong wind potential. And then you have to talk about hail. Yeah, there's a chance we could see a few hailstones. And remember, we saw some of that in Western Virginia yesterday. So certainly something we'll keep an eye to as that energy kind of pulls off to the north. We've got that warm front lifting north. Back out across Nebraska, though, this is the area where there is that chance for larger hail, maybe 1.5 inches to 2 inches or greater diameter hail. That's the concern, central Nebraska. So we'll keep an eye to that. Now, looking ahead to tomorrow, you can see how that severe weather threat shifts to the east. And now you're looking at Wisconsin, back down across Lake Michigan and into portions of Michigan, northern Indiana, Chicago, also under this level 3 threat. That's an enhanced threat. So much greater concern for severe weather here. In this case, we would expect numerous severe storms. And yes, there's a potential for some of those heavier impacts we've talked about. That level 2 threat curls down towards southeast Missouri, certainly eastern Illinois, southern Indiana, most of Michigan under a level 2 threat. And then that level 2 threat extends a little farther to the west as well, back across Minneapolis and St. Paul. We're going to spend some more time talking about what's happening up in Minnesota here in just a few moments, but we'll focus on the tornado potential for Thursday, and we do have that second level of tornadic threat anywhere from Minneapolis, St. Paul, across all of Wisconsin, much of the lower peninsula of Michigan, all of Indiana, eastern Illinois, western Ohio. You can see there is that concern. And this extends down through Cape Girardeau, Missouri, just off to the north of the boot heel there, and then that level 1 threat down through Arkansas. So that's a tornado potential for tomorrow. Again, Hampton Roads, we are not in that. So if you're a local viewer of 13 News Now and you're wondering, okay, is this a problem for us? The answer is no. This is back across the north central U.S. Now, strong winds, this could be an issue tomorrow night for Hampton Roads as we have another chance for storms coming late tomorrow evening. But the greater threat for strong and damaging winds back across Wisconsin into Michigan, and again across Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio as well. So a lot of storminess back in that part of the country for your Thursday, and the potential there for some larger hail in this area kind of hashed out as well. All right, let's take a look at some of the other communities here. You see Wisconsin, well, Milwaukee, everybody knows, okay, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and Green Bay, up through Rhinelander. I mentioned Minneapolis on the western edge in Minnesota, but they are hashed as well for some potentially larger hail. Down across Indiana, Indianapolis, certainly possible, Champaign, Illinois, down through Paducah, Kentucky, and just south and southeast of St. Louis. That's the outlook there. Looking ahead to Friday, severe weather from Arkansas, southeast Missouri, across, look at just about all of Kentucky, much of northern Tennessee, and southern parts of Indiana, Ohio, and Illinois under the level 2 threat for Friday. Now, I do want to talk to you a little bit more about the severe weather before we move on. It wasn't just Hampton Roads that we had the concerns with. We had extreme weather in other parts of the country. We're talking about everything from record heat and wildfires as far north as Minnesota to flash flooding in Maryland. Take a look at flooding, and this took place in Westernport. It's a small western community in Maryland underwater completely. Look at that. Really difficult to see that. That was the issue, and we can take a closer look now, again, at the reports coming out from that area. Andrew Dimbert has that look.
Up to 5 inches of rain fell in just a matter of hours in western Maryland, submerging entire communities.
A certain part of Main Street, there was probably 1.5 feet, 2 feet of water at one spot by the library.
Rescue boats evacuating an elementary school in Allegheny County, floodwaters approaching the second floor. 150 students and 50 adults taken to a nearby church.
It was chaos everywhere. Everyone trying to panic and get their kid.
The storm's expanding along the East Coast, bringing rain to the New York City area today. Meanwhile, an early season heat wave is bearing down on other parts of the country. San Antonio, Texas could see 103 degrees for 3 straight days. Austin could hit a record 107 today. Even far northern Minnesota has seen temps in the 90s. The hot, dry conditions fueling 3 major wildfires in the state, up to 150 buildings now destroyed.
We put every nail in that house. We painted every wall. We did it from the ground up, and just to know it might be gone is so scary.
In the southwest, heavy wind fueling this massive fire in Albuquerque, spreading from those pallets to multiple buildings. A wildfire in neighboring Arizona also forcing evacuations. And in Southern California, new fallout from the devastating Los Angeles wildfires in January. Homeowners bracing for higher insurance rates. State Farm has now been approved for an emergency 17% rate hike. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
All right, and I do want to focus a little bit more on the wildfires. Again, here's Duluth, and we're talking about areas just off to the north. These satellite images that we're going to show you now show a trio of wildfires burning in the northeastern part of Minnesota. Crews have been battling these flames since Sunday, and so far, a combined 20,000 acres have been scorched. The Camp House fire near Duluth accounts for most of those acres, with 12,000 scorched so far. The Jenkins Creek fire has burned nearly 7,000 acres, while the Munger Shaw fire is at more than 1,000 acres. And as of yesterday, all 3 of these fires are still 0% contained. So obviously, this is something we are watching. That's a look at the satellite images. You can see this area abnormally dry going into it, looking at the drought monitor. I do want to give you a look at the smoke forecast, kind of where that smoke's been going. And you can see right there, there's the smoke projection with our modeling. And you can see right now, the winds are fairly light, a little bit of a south, maybe southeasterly trajectory. This is through 3 o'clock this afternoon. There's some more smoke from some fires back up into Canada. As we take a look here, again, you'll see this kind of drifting off more to the north later tonight, and then it carries a little bit more to the north and northwest. Again, the Canadian wildfires kind of wrapping around the backside of an area of low pressure here, and you're going to see how that eventually kind of curls around that low. The smoke from the fires in Minnesota carrying off to the northwest. That's through 10:45 tomorrow. After that, the winds shift around a little bit more, and you're getting more of that in a northwesterly trajectory. So you take a look here, and you see there's this area of low pressure, some of the Canadian wildfire smoke getting wrapped around. I can tell you right now, looking at the modeling through tomorrow afternoon, we don't have any of it kind of wafting down. And sometimes when we get some large fires in Canada or back across parts of the upper Midwest and the north central U.S., we can find that smoke coming all the way down into the mid-Atlantic or the northeast U.S. Not the case right now, not yet. We've got that area of low pressure again spinning with that stuff off to the north and kind of staying up that way. You'll notice some of that Canadian smoke does wrap around the low, though, so we'll continue to watch that as we go through Friday and into the upcoming weekend. For now, that's the latest. Now, Hampton Roads isn't done with the wet weather just yet. We need to talk about our flood potential, and we're going to do that. We can take a look at what's going on with the flood potential. This is excessive rain potential through today and tonight. We do have the potential. It's a level 1 threat for excessive rain, but there could be some flash flooding. The only part of the 13 News Now viewing area that is not under this, really the eastern shore, and even the southern tip of the eastern shore up through Cape Charles, you are under that level 1 threat. You look at how much rain we've seen by radar estimate over the last 24 hours, over an inch in Norfolk, 1.9 inches around Emporia, a little bit more than an inch in Richmond, an inch and a half there at Roanoke Rapids. Williamsburg had over 2 inches yesterday, but in the last 24 hours, it's only been 1.92. Virginia Beach, 2 2/3 of an inch, about an inch. Franklin, Suffolk, and Chesapeake. So just a lot of soaking rain down around Manteo, Outer Banks, North Carolina, 1.12 inches. How about what's next? Take a look. You can see our chances for rain will be going up. Now this morning hasn't been a problem at all. We're enjoying dry conditions to start the day. Big change from 24 hours ago. But as we go through the early to middle part of the afternoon, our rain chances go up, and there's going to be a good opportunity for heavier rain, some downpours with potentially a few stronger storms into the early evening. By late evening, that threat goes down, and I think Thursday looks pretty good. You can see fairly low rain chances for most of Thursday. By Thursday evening, we get a little bump again. There will be chances for some scattered showers and storms Thursday evening. And again on Friday, a similar pattern. As far as our chances go today, let's put some numbers to it. We should see, and right now it's mostly cloudy, but we should see a few peaks of sunshine. If we get that, that's going to allow temperatures to pop up close to 80, maybe low 80s, low to mid 80s for some spots. That's going to destabilize the atmosphere and allow for some storms to develop later this afternoon. So I suspect we'll see some isolated scattered showers and storms. I'll show you the Futurecast in a moment. They're going to be likely this evening and potentially isolated through, say, mid to late evening around 9:30 or 10 o'clock. After that, things should kind of reset and we should be drier again for tomorrow morning. You take a look at all the models, and I say all of them, these are 5 models, but 5 different models we can show you right now on this graph. And you'll notice the NAM, that's one of our higher res models, about 4/10 of an inch. This is just for Norfolk specifically. The GFS, that's a global model. That's our global forecast system, the U.S. global model, about 1 1/4 inches. The graph is another higher res model, about 1.6 inches. The Canadian and the Euro, those models there, the global's taking a look at 3/4 of an inch or so. So all the models do point to more rain coming for Hampton Roads. That's why we say we're not done yet with it. Flood potential Thursday morning into Friday morning off across the north central U.S. and then Saturday morning into Sunday. You can see for the Northeast and back across parts of Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and into Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee. Hampton Roads, after today, we are in better shape. Although I still think we're going to see some additional rain, and it could be locally heavy even tomorrow evening as we get into the Futurecast. You'll see that. Looking ahead Friday into Saturday, back across the Ohio River Valley and the mid-Mississippi Valley, some additional heavy rain potential. So a lot to talk about. Right now, though, we're going to focus on a taste of summer here in mid-May. We're going to see increasing heat and humidity making for some pretty sticky days. Now, during Andrew Dimbert's kind of wrap-up of the weather across the country, he talked about the extreme heat down in Texas, San Antonio, Austin, some of the towns down in Texas that are just in the grips of the hot weather. It's been hot all the way through the north central U.S. That heat is moving east, and we are going to see it here in the mid-Atlantic. You take a look at the temperature trends. We go from low 80s today to mid 80s tomorrow, and then near 90. That's what the models are suggesting Friday into Saturday, upper 80s on Sunday, and then a little cooler into next week. But that's just part of the story, because not only is it going to be hot, but it's going to be pretty humid as well. As we look forward, our dew points as we get into Friday and Saturday should be around the low 70s, maybe 70, 71 on Saturday. But with dew points in the 70s and air temperatures up around 90 degrees, it's going to feel like it's in the upper 90s for Friday and Saturday. So today, this afternoon, if we get that sunshine peeking through, it's going to feel like it's in the mid 80s, maybe mid to upper 80s. It'll feel like the upper 80s tomorrow, and then we're really feeling that summertime heat and humidity for Friday and Saturday. Temperatures do start to come back down a little bit as we get into early next week and we get some drier air. Gives us some relief there as well. So I'm really looking forward to that. All right, I wanted to show a couple of pictures, and this is something we're going to be doing. If we can take this full, I think you get a better look at the moon there. This image was sent to us by Alan Hunt. He's a viewer. great photographer. He was down in Moyock, but you can see this was taken this morning before moonset, and it shows some of the fog down there in northeast North Carolina. We did have that across the area. You think about this, we had so much rain yesterday that the ground has a lot of low-level moisture there. A lot of the ground's still soggy, so with the lighter winds, the dew points coming up, the morning temperatures down into the 60s, we saw a little bit of fog, but I love that you can see the moon peeking out there, and I really appreciate Ellen Hunt sending that picture to us. Now, Ruth Turner from Bells Island in Currituck, North Carolina, took this out over the Currituck Sound. You can see a double rainbow. Just beautiful. This was taken at 5:45. She's got a timestamp on that, and I appreciate Ruth posting this with us. Again, a great picture, double rainbow there. Absolutely beautiful down there from Bells Island, North Carolina. As we go along, we're actually creating a new way that you can send us your images, questions, different feedback for the weather desk. We're going to have an email. I'd love to hear from you. And again, you can post and share your thoughts on what we're doing here. If you've got questions for me or if you have some images you'd like to share, we'll pass them along right here on the weather desk. And we're in the process of putting that together, but we'll let you know. Stay tuned over the next day or so. We'll have that up and running, and we want to hear from you, know what you're thinking about what we're doing here and what you'd like to see more of. If you have any questions, I'll get to those as well. Right now, it is a gray start to the day in Hampton Roads in Norfolk. This is from the Jordan Bridge, part of the Elizabeth River here. You can see the Thompson Creek Window Company Skyview. At Norfolk International, 72 and overcast. Winds have been light. As you can see out on the water today, though, it's still choppy out on the ocean. The seas have been running 5 to 6 feet. They're going to be easing a bit. Lower part of the Chesapeake Bay, much calmer, but the sea is still very rough east of Virginia Beach, so we wanted to pass that along. Water temperatures for the bay and the ocean now coming up through the mid-60s, so starting to get a little more bearable out there. And with temperatures getting close to 90 Friday and Saturday, I'd imagine some folks are like, hey, this is a way I can beat the heat, jump into the bay or the ocean and enjoy a little cool down there. It'll happen quick with temperatures in the mid-60s. All right, you take a look at the UV index today. It is very high, 9.3 on the scale. Only about 20 minutes or so to burn. I know we've got clouds out there right now, but I'm telling you, you get a few peaks of sunshine, or if the clouds start to thin, you may think, oh, it's cloudy, it's overcast, not a problem. You can still get sunburn, so we need you to be careful and, as always, apply that sunscreen. All right, tree pollen low today. Oak and mulberry, a couple of the trees still producing pollen. Grass starting to come up now. Grass pollen is medium. Right now we have the clouds across the area. There are some peaks of sunshine breaking through some of the clouds. So while we have a lot of cloud cover across Southside Hampton Roads, wet weather still out to the west. Hasn't been a problem yet. You take a look at the loop from earlier this morning. We have been dry this morning, so it's been nice to get that little reset. As we go past noon, we'll need to keep an eye to the radar as we could see some stray showers and storms. As I mentioned, we've got this window. I think the window, the most likely opportunities coming between, say, 1:30 or 2 o'clock and about 10 o'clock tonight. That's when we'll see our best chances. Showers and storms. Notice more of the development off to the north and northwest. And then we get some showers and heavier downpours developing south side and into North Carolina. This is 5 o'clock rush hour, so travel on the peninsula could be impacted, certainly around the downtown area, south side and northeast North Carolina. We'll run this through 6:30. Now we're talking heavy downpours, and this could create, obviously it's going to create slowdowns on the roads if you get these heavy cells. But it could also create situations where, again, poor drainage areas back up pretty quickly. We could have some flash flooding or some runoff issues, urban small stream flooding, that type of thing, if we get those heavier cells. So again, it's just a level 1 threat for excessive rainfall. But when you see the models projecting these heavier cells, you need to be mindful of it. And again, stay weather aware, stay in touch with our 13 News Now weather team. Tim Pandagis will be in, covering it all for you this evening, and we'll probably have some additional streaming. We've been doing more and more of that right here on 13 News Now Plus. So if you're away from your television, you can't watch the live coverage there, you want to check us out wherever you're streaming, and if you've got maybe, I don't know, an iPad or, some type of a tablet or something you like to go, your laptop, check us out again. We'll be covering all of it. Now, you take a look up on the peninsula, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, still chances for wet weather. After that, though, after about 10:30 or so, that last cell kind of moves out. Things should settle out overnight. Looking forward to a good start to the day on your Thursday. By noon Thursday, temperatures upper 70s. Maybe a little cooler right on the water's edge if you get a little onshore flow, but it is going to be warmer tomorrow. Temperatures up mid-80s, several locations, as you can see across the area. Still things pretty quiet for most of Thursday, but by Thursday evening, this is where things start to really ramp up again. We could see some more isolated heavier cells Thursday evening. Storms kind of settling down to the south. Things will, again, quiet down for early Friday, and then late Friday into early Saturday, there could be a few more areas with showers and storms. This is the Futurecast rainfall through Friday. Just a couple days, just to give you a feel. We could pick up another inch, inch and a half in some areas when all said and done between what happens later tonight and Thursday night. So, the combination of those 2 days, there could be some more locally heavy rain. It's one model. I think this is a little bit too bullish up around Richmond, but it's possible you could get over 2, maybe 2.5 inches of rain up that way. Now, the 7-day rain chances, good chances for scattered wet weather this afternoon and evening. Should see really low chances for most of the day Thursday, but look for that round maybe Thursday evening. Friday, late in the day, a little bit better chance. Saturday, Sunday, chances going back down. Monday should be beautiful. Tuesday should be beautiful as well. Excited about that. Temperatures so far in the low 70s. That's about it. We do have upper 60s, Chesapeake and Ahoskie. I will tell you, yesterday's high was only 71, so we've already passed that. And here we are just at 9:33 this morning. We are going to see those temperatures warming up. I suspect low 80s with chances for storms. Some areas will stay in the upper 70s. Bottom line, warmer, a little more humid, and with a little more instability, I expect some more scattered showers and storms later this afternoon. On the peninsula, upper 70s to near 80. We'll see low to mid 70s for the eastern shore. Gloucester around 78 into North Carolina. Upper 70s at the Outer Banks, low 80s inland. For tonight, the low near 67. It's going to be mostly cloudy. Evening showers and storms likely, and then winding down after that. For tomorrow, we're back up to 85. Isolated afternoon shower storm, a possibility. I think a better chance tomorrow evening. And then we do it again Friday. Chances for storms late, maybe a few stray showers late Saturday. Sunday looks pretty good. Monday and Tuesday are looking great. Temperatures trending back down. That's after 2 really, really hot days. You can call Sunday really hot as well, upper 80s there. So we got to get through the heat, and then things will be improving. Remember, you can always get the latest news and traffic by going to our 13 News Now app. You scan that QR code, you'll have access to our radars, to our forecasts and news updates. It's a great way to stay weather aware, and you need to do that. As I pointed out, several parts of the country targeted for potential severe weather today. And for us in Hampton Roads, while it's just a level 1 threat, kind of the lowest of the levels that we talk about when we get into severe weather and flash flooding potential, it's still there. It's still something to think about. So stay weather aware, check back with us, and hopefully you'll come back tomorrow morning for our next edition of the Weather Desk. Guys, have a great day.